It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists in Piercer talk about some of the more common questions we get asked by people that collect tattoos in piercings. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo and the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. Today what we're going to talk about is relationships and being a tattoo or piercing artist. Before we get into that, to my right, your left, Jimmy St. John's of Skin Kitchen tattoo artist.
What's up, guys?
Right next to me, Jack Lowe, tattoo artist and owner of the Skin Kitchen Tattoo. Me, I'm DaVo, professional body piercer and owner of the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. And then over here is quiet Brent Starr, tattoo artist at the Skin Kitchen.
Hi, guys.
So who wants to start this one off?
I don't care. I'll do it.
Have at it.
By all means.
Okay. It's very to be a tattoo artist and have like an actual relationship, like a serious relationship. It's very difficult. It's a lot of managing.
Yeah.
What most people see is we come to work at noon, open at 1, and we tattoo till 8 o'clock. Which is 8 hours out of the day. Cool. But what you don't see is when the shop closes and we're done is I'll stay here. Me and Jack and Brent will stay here until anywhere from midnight until 3 or 4 in the morning, drawing and working on our next piece for the next day.
Well, you guys
or
will stay
following
here
pieces.
that long. I've got a relationship, so
yeah. Brent has a wife and he's really good at it.
Because
Rub it in, Dick.
the
thanks.
boss has got
Right on. As for me and my wife, Jessie works at front for us. She does a lot of the stuff. She's behind the scenes now doing our recording with us, so she's here a lot, which helps because we get to spend some time together, that way. But, I'm away from home a lot. I don't spend a lot of time with my wife or my kids or my dog because I'm doing this. It's tattooing's not a job. It's like I go in at 9 and I punch the clock and I work till 5 and then I go home and that's it.
It's not a job, man. It's a way of life.
Well,
but
it is a lifestyle.
I didn't realize how much energy and focus and all that a relationship took from you until I wasn't in one. Because pretty much my whole career I was in relationships,
Right.
And then it came to a point where I wasn't, and wow. It's really hard now, and I think about it and struggle with it every day. I'm thinking, I would like to be in a relationship, but that's going to take so much away from my tattooing and all that. Is that going to make me happier overall,
right.
or am I going to be like, man, I really am?
Sometimes,
and I wouldn't have realized that before,
right?
Because
I found that out
the way it
too.
was.
I never realized how much tattooing takes.
Right.
Dedication and time and energy until I got married.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I didn't realize how much.
It's like opposite for me.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't realize, just like him with the relationship, I didn't realize how much I put into tattooing to tattoo.
Yeah.
On the level that we do. And once I got married, it was a big eye opener. Like, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving the person that you care the most in the world about as much attention as you really would like to, because you just don't have it. You're giving it all to
it's kind of, you're screwed either way.
Right.
If you put the time into the relationship that to make it its absolute best it could be,
your
tattooing's is not gonna be as good.
What it could be,
and vice versa. Yeah. So it's really, really tough, and it's kind of like my father was in law enforcement and stuff, and so and a lot of people have heard a lot that it's really hard to be married to a cop. It's because of that. When you're a cop, there's a lot of pressure and the hours suck, and you're always having
the job
to be
never stops.
A cop. So it's kind of the same way with a tattooer. If you're a tattooer.
Yeah.
And you're trying to be in a relationship. So it doesn't stop. You don't clock out. You don't turn your machine off at the end of the day and make sure it's clean for the next guy.
Absolutely.
It's okay. 8. Oh, I've got that piece tomorrow. Okay. That's going to be 4 or 5 hours of drawing.
Yep.
Da.
You eat, breathe, and sleep.
You go to sleep thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow, and then you wake up thinking about what am I going to do today.
Yeah, how you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, who you're doing it on, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, what style you're doing it in.
Your mental game has to be on point.
It takes a very strong person to be able to allow you to give you that room and that time, understanding that it's not personal towards me. I know you're not doing that because you don't want to be with me.
No.
This is very important to you. This is who you are, and I need to allow you that space so you can be the happiest person and the most well-adjusted person you could be, because that's then what I get.
Well, in order for me to do my job the best
hard.
and efficiently to provide for us to be a family.
That's the struggle.
That's the struggle, because if I don't put that time and stuff in, then if my career suffers a little bit, well, then we're not going to be happy at home, because now we don't have the money that we used to. We don't have the lifestyle. We don't have this. We don't have that. Like,
and as
it
a
all
man,
goes together.
You want to provide.
Yeah, you want to provide. You want to take care of your family.
And I've watched artists and relationships struggle over this, because they'll begin to get so much pressure from their family.
It gets heavy.
And their everybody else to take more time off or not work as late or whatever.
But then your career
their money
suffers a little bit.
Starts dropping, so that adds a whole nother level of stress to the situation.
Yeah, and then you don't have the time to do those things because you're not working.
Right.
So not only are you not making money that day, you're spending more money than you normally would be doing these things. So then when you come back,
your budget off and
it's that in the cycle. And it's not only tattooing, but since this is a tattoo show, we're going to talk about that aspect. But,
but yes,
and not to say that tattoo is the only one I get, that suffer with this kind of duality of, I want to be the best person I can be in two areas, and how does a person do that?
Yeah. And it's
lots of work.
It's
a lot of work.
It's part of being self-employed. I used to describe it. I used to describe it to like potential dates. I'm sorry, but this is the way life is. My shop comes first.
Yeah.
Or my family, depending on what part of what's going on at the time. And then there might be, some other things going on. And you might, if you're lucky, hit about 4th or 5th on the priority list. And that's not because I don't like you. That's not because I don't want to spend time with you.
Yeah, it's not
but
personal.
I am incapable of shutting down all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and also with tattooing, I think it's different than some other careers. Not many, but a few other careers. Like, I think firefighting and police, law enforcement stuff kind of shares this. When you're a tattooer or a firefighter, you're part of a team.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing your job to the most efficient ability that you can do it, your team also suffers. You're not only letting them down, you down, you're letting them down. Like, it's, it's more for them to take on and carry, to try to carry your weight that you're not doing. A lot of people that's a lot of responsibility, man.
Yeah, and that can be self-imposed, but isn't everything isn't every day self-imposed,
that way? Yeah.
Of course your team has to realize, hey man, you've got priorities, you've got to take care of your stuff. Again, we're not taking it personal. It's not like you don't want to be here, but we understand that you have, other things that you need to take care of. And it can be just as hard to find a group or a team at work that feels that way as it is to find a spouse that sees that the same way and go, hey, I know this is important and it's stressing you out. And even if you did say, screw all that and you're going to be with me, you're going to be a mess because you're not taking care of what you need to take care of. Yeah, so, it can be a big struggle, and it's really only gotten worse. At first you could almost put your machine down and go home and not think about it because it was a lot of, I want that. Well, okay, it's already there. There's no preparation. It's a 2-hour tattoo. It's already colored. It's already drawn.
Yeah, cool.
No big deal. It was way less to be a tattooer.
And the days of the street shop, it was easier.
Yeah.
Because you came in, you knew, people knew, you knew what you were going to do with the designs roughly. You were in a realm of what you, could do and produce pretty, efficiently and quick. But now with all the custom stuff, like, okay, well, what do you got tomorrow? Oh, well, I'm going to start a hell sleeve on a guy. Okay, well, he wants this, and this, and that. Well, how are you going to make all that work? I'm not real sure. It's going to probably take me the next 7 to 8 hours tonight to figure out how I'm going to lay it out mentally in my brain and put that on paper and have something that I can work off of by tomorrow.
Yeah.
But even with the street shop, because of the fact that you had to be open when no one else was
then
open.
The hours were longer,
The hours were longer, and a lot of times...
noon to midnight.
A lot of times, our cutoff's at midnight, but somebody came in that
if the shop was full,
get knocked out.
We stayed until it was done.
Yeah. And you were there till 3 or 4 o'clock in the
every
morning.
night.
Yeah.
So it kind of, it changed. But it hasn't.
But it hasn't.
Changed.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Well, I guess what I meant is, I've never.
You're doing more homework.
Yeah, now it's really all I do.
If I'm not at work, I'm doing homework.
80% of the time, I'm conscious and I'm not here. I'm drawing and I'm working on artwork.
Yeah.
So if you add in a relationship on there where you got to go to Bed Bath & Beyond today, and then you got to go to Aunt Mary's birthday and all that stuff, how do you how do you do that?
What I do to kind of balance things just a little bit is when I leave you guys here at the shop, when I go home and I hang out with Beth and like say we eat dinner and stuff, I'm doing homework while we're
while you're eating,
while I'm sitting there conversing with her, asking about how's your day, that kind of stuff.
Multitasking.
Kind of multitasking a little bit, which is kind of takes a little away from my my design in the sense of like I've got to go back and look at that and say, all right, well, I didn't dedicate enough time or my
mental
mental focus
Right.
on that. And I mean that's part of the balancing act, but I mean that seems to work for us right now as far as the relationship part goes. And but I mean it's not easy. It's a lot of work kind of getting that balance.
It really is
stressful.
So I want to hang out with you guys, and cut up and
That's
have
the fun
fun
of working here.
Right, and that's the thing a lot of people forget is like they see us enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
Like I would if money wasn't a thing, dude, I would tattoo anyway.
Yeah.
If I could afford to not have to pay rent and not have to, it didn't matter, bills didn't matter.
Yeah.
I would tattoo for free. I really would.
Absolutely.
But the fact that I have to pay rent and I have to have monetary, income and currency to survive in this, planet, that's why I charge the tattoo. But
it's not like complaining.
I love,
just kind of a real.
But a lot of people take that and like, well, you don't really work. You have a fun. You goof off. You have a blast every day when I see you. First off, yes, I do. I'm very fortunate because and to add to that, I worked really hard for many, many years. I've been doing this since 1999. I didn't start out being a cool guy and somebody that people sought out to get tattooed by. It took me probably 10 or 15 years to build clientele enough to stay busy enough to be a professional, really. But I still did it.
Yeah.
And, and on top of that, like, yes, I love what I do. But when you see me at the shop, it's like being a radio personality. Hey, I'm Dick Clark. It's time for the New Year's Eve countdown. He's not like that at home. No. Hey, it's time for dinner. We're going to count it down. We got, 5 seconds till we eat. Like, and that's all part of it. You're putting on a persona. You're having to carry that on. You're having to do your job. You're having to, perform.
Just because I enjoy it doesn't mean it adds more hours to my day.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I have more.
It doesn't mean that that I worked less or I wasn't at work technically or anything like that. Like I'm still working.
And it's a couple things. I had an ex that described dating me like she was dating a truck driver.
Yeah.
She's like, even when you are here, you're not
here. Right. Available.
And that's the other thing that I have encountered over the years because I've always had a strict policy. I will not hit on or set up a date with anybody while they're in the studio. Mm-hmm. If I run into them outside the studio and they're a former client or a current client or whatever, and we hit it off, then yes, I'll consider it. Where I ran into problems there is my persona in here in the shop when I'm dealing with clients is not me.
Right.
Completely.
People have problems with that later.
Usually I was so drained of having that persona for the entire day and placating to everybody else's needs and being a good piercer and taking care of my clients. By the time I was done, all I wanted to do was sit there, eat something in silence, have a couple beers, and not talk about my day.
Turn off your head.
Or talk about anybody else because I needed to reset.
Right. Yeah. I want to shut down. I want to turn everything off. I want to zone out and watch television or whatever it is you do. And then I want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I want to rest because I'm wore out. I need to recharge. My batteries are on red, man. We're drained.
But you've got this other tattoo shop that needs attention.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there comes that conflict.
Right.
Either you have to, decrease your amount of time that you're with one or the other, and that's in your... So that means you're letting that half of yourself down to try to please the other half.
Yep. Right.
So you've just, you've really got this battle. So I think it's really tough to find someone who understands that and wants, and like the most important thing for them is, you being good, being happy, doing what you need to fulfill your, life.
Right.
And because the other person feels bad enough,
right?
I guess.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, my hat's off to the significant others, all the guys, all the girls that date tattoo artists and piercers and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
likewise.
they're equally as strong and putting up and dealing with as much crap
You have to be.
as we got going on with us, because they're dealing with us.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And they're accepting that, well, you know, you put more into this because that's what you do, and I get it, and blah, blah, like, you know. And I mean, dude, they're super strong and like commendable people to do that.
And there's
It
just
takes
not
a
like, thank
special
God for 'em.
understanding, for sure. Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank God for people like that.
Yep.
And I didn't
You know?
basically. And if you throw kids into the match,
Oh,
especially,
Jesus.
and you're responsible to take care, that adds a whole nother
Yeah.
level.
Now if you like timed it, like how many kids you got? Like, you got 3? Okay, well, times 3 on top of what you got going on.
I couldn't.
You know,
I couldn't do it.
Yeah. So
There's
with
no
me,
way.
I basically said, okay, Sunday's Dad's Day from now on. When my kid was little, and I would shut the phone off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't look at anything that was relating to the shop or anything, and that was his time. And it forced me to get into that.
Right.
Mhm.
But to do that in a relationship would be impossible for me.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, and that's a great thing to do. I've been trying to do that lately, where on my days off, I try to stuff. I try to get as much out of it as I can,
Yeah.
and I realized that was stressing me out. It wasn't giving me any days off.
No.
You know, so I've been trying to go, okay, well, out of the 2 days off, I'm going to take today as just like a veg day.
Yep.
I'm not going to put any strain or
Right.
pressure on myself to get anything done, because my brain and my body and my constitution needs this.
Yeah.
You know,
You
that's
have to.
just as important as getting the drawing right or,
Yep.
you know, pulling a straight line. You know, it's not a cop-out. It's not being lazy. It's giving your mind and body a time to just chill the F out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another level,
necessary.
even in a relationship. Like,
Right.
cool, you got a wife or a significant other, a husband or whatever. All right, cool. Well, you want to be the best at tattooing. You want to be the best husband or wife you can be. At some point, you have to be like, everybody needs to be alone. And
You
just,
need space
just
in
I
a
don't have to think
relationship.
about, you want me to cut the grass. You want me to draw this picture. You want me to like,
Yeah.
at some point you got to be like, I don't care what anything or anybody wants right now. I need to sit here in the middle of the living room and play with the dogs or play video games or just do nothing and close my eyes. Like, whatever it is,
Yeah.
you still need to fit that in with everything else going on.
Yeah,
it's important.
or everything else again, it's going to suffer.
Yep.
You know, and it's kind of a hard
It really is,
lesson.
dude.
You know,
It's difficult.
It's one heck of a juggling act.
because I hate wasting time. You know, it's really hard for me just to sit down and do nothing.
Right.
Because I'm like, I could be doing something.
Yeah.
I could be doing
That's-
this. Yeah.
That's part of shutting down.
But if you
It's
do,
difficult.
then you're not doing all those other somethings as good as you could be doing, because you're just running at max all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's taken a long time for me to kind of, I think, let myself do that. You know, because I would always be like, "You get up."
I
You
have
know?
a
You're
hard
being
time
lazy. You've
with-
wasted the day.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll find myself accidentally doing something,
Yeah.
you know, like a project or just
Yep.
working on something, even if it's something fun that I want to do, and I'll be like, oh, all right, well, I gotta put that down, and you know, just kind of, you need that reflective kind of meditative time.
Yeah,
to
just
chill.
Let your brain mush out a bit. You know,
man.
don't you know, be standing over your brain with a ruler ready to whack it on the knuckles all the time. You know.
Yeah, like
And it makes just overall things better. It makes you happier.
Totally.
It gives you time to recoup too, because I'm not getting older or younger every day.
I was
you
going to
know?
say, the older you get, the harder it is to do that.
Yeah,
And
Yes,
the more
immensely.
you need it.
The more you need it, yeah.
I need
So-
multiplicity. I need like a clone.
Yeah, you know, I've
Or
thought
two.
of that too. When people
But
are
no.
complaining, like, "How far are you out?" and I'm like, "I'm this." They're like, I go, "Trust me, if I could multiply myself,
I would.
I would." And you know, my guys, that's as close as I can get. You know,
Right.
and they're hard to come by. So trust me, I want to tattoo all of you today, but it just doesn't. You know,
It's
it
not
doesn't happen.
possible.
Yeah,
But man,
time doesn't allow it.
Yeah, if it
And-
was possible,
And if you tried to squeeze that all in, your work
would suffer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
exactly. So
And
it's-
that's the part I think a lot
Yeah.
of people don't understand. Like a lot
That's-
of people, like, why do you take a half an hour to do it? Why do you do scheduling appointments for half an hour for a piercing? And it's like, because I never know exactly how that piercing is going to go,
Right.
yeah,
and I don't want to rush through anything.
yeah.
Well, that's why I'm
and
thankful.
if you need the extra time, then I want you to have the ability to have
Exactly.
the extra time.
It's less stress on
Yeah.
me knowing that.
I'm not trying to rush you through.
Come
Right.
on, feel better quick. Get that.
You're
out,
not just
you know?
another number.
Yeah, and
you
I
know?
used to
So
get
many-
stressed out if people were waiting in the waiting room. I
Right.
just got to a point where I'm just like, they're
Well, that's
going
why
to be
I'm
here
so
when I'm
thankful.
done, or they're not going to be here when I'm done.
That's
Right.
why I'm so thankful that we have a good front person. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because if it's up to me, like I know you guys are a lot like me. If a customer comes in and is like, oh man, I know you got like 5 minutes for you close, but I really want this thing, and you've done so many things on me, and like it's just this really important, and it's the only time I've gotten. I can't say no.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time saying no. But that front person, I know it makes them feel like a bad guy, but it's a necessity. They need to go, I know I get it, but I'm really sorry. Like, they're done for the day, but I can squeeze you in. I found some space here between appointments. We can fit you in and accommodate you. But, like, we're human.
You need someone
that's
to
the
enforce
best we can
rules,
do. Right. Exactly.
It's a good buffer to keep the artist
dude.
Artist and
I couldn't do it without a good front person. I really couldn't. I would be overrun, and everything would suffer.
Yeah,
I'd be
definitely.
doing is
Totally.
answering the phone all day.
Yeah, because I don't know how to say no and walk away from people. I can't do it.
Well,
I've
I want
gotten
to
better at it.
I want to be able to focus on that person I'm tattooing.
Yeah.
And so the more other things could be taken care of, the more I can focus on my client and not be jumping up every 15 minutes because the phone rang or someone comes in the door and I got to talk to him while I'm tattooing.
Exactly.
To me, that's not fair to my client.
No, it's not.
They waited a long time.
It's not fair to either of you.
Did their research. They came here because they wanted to come here, and taking that time and that focus away from them sucks.
It's wrong.
It's worth all the money and all the time and all the everything to have someone there that can do all that, because that just frees up more brain space and more time for myself to focus and do a better job.
Totally.
So it's
and just to give some suggestions, if somebody's struggling with this as an artist or dating somebody, set a plan ahead.
Yeah.
And it can be complicated to find a place that's halfway decent to eat after they get off work.
Right.
Also, let them have that space.
Yeah.
Don't be on
it's a real
top of
give
all
and
the
take,
time. They're not doing it on purpose. And I think this goes with any career. I've dated girls that worked full-time jobs that had like major careers that were in management, and we were both the same way. And it didn't work out because neither of us could really figure out how to have space and still have a relationship.
You couldn't find the time
at the same time. And you got to deal with that conflicting. I mean, it's one of the things you put up with.
Yeah.
And it's all about compromise.
Just as much as artists, that's the thing. We need to compromise. Like, okay, I put a lot of time into things. Every Wednesday, it's date night. I'm not going to stay at the shop. I'm not going to work on drawings. I'm not going to communicate with customers on social media or whatever. I'm just going to we're going to either go out to dinner or go to a movie or spend time at home or whatever it is that we deem that we're going to do. But that's going to be like, our allotted time.
That's your 3 hours.
You have to. And I think that's important. I think you have to find that ground. Because if you don't, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and if the significant other, if they're working, like in my example, like for us, me and Beth, she works mornings.
Right.
So it's only during the evening time that I get to see her for maybe an hour, maybe 2 if I'm lucky.
She's ready to crash by the time we get out of here.
Sometimes I don't even see her, she's out before I get home. So it's that part of the balancing act gets a little difficult because, a lot of times she'll feel like I'm not home, which she doesn't, she's understanding about stuff. And
I was here. You were just asleep.
Yeah. It's just one of those things, but it is taxing on a relationship when you're not around the person ever.
Yeah.
Right, dude. It's hard.
Yeah. And it's hard to be present when you're around.
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard. That's very hard. Is like, well, what are you thinking about? Well, we're having a really nice dinner. Yeah, but what are you thinking about? Well, I'm thinking about this sleeve I got to do tomorrow, and
and that's you. You got to learn to shut that off.
Exactly. That's on us.
And sometimes it's walking, sometimes it's meditation, sometimes it's
riding your motorcycle, playing video games,
taking a bike ride, whatever it is, to just kind of reset, or taking a day off where you just sit on the couch and watch YouTube videos.
I personally have gotten good at, like, if I go on the motorcycle ride or play games, I can shut everything off and just zone in on that. Yeah. But the problem is I'm not thinking about how to make other things better with that time. I'm zoning the F out. Like, I'm shutting it off.
You're working on making you better.
Recharging everything.
Right. But I fall into that sometimes,
Yeah.
And I do it sometimes when I'm spending time with my significant other. Like, what are you thinking about? Nothing.
Yeah, and it's hard to do
absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
well, we're not having a conversation. Well, no, because I'm not thinking about nothing.
I'm just
meditating.
Yeah, it's like when I asked my grandmother at their 50th wedding anniversary, I'm like, how? And I was probably 11 at the time, maybe a little younger.
Like, how the hell did you?
I'm like, how did you know that you guys loved each other? And my grandmother said, He was the first guy I was ever with that I could sit in silence for more than 5 minutes and not feel uncomfortable.
And not feel weird. Yeah.
Cool.
And I think people have forgotten that.
Comfortability.
Yeah.
And it's partly because we're forced by media and culture to think that we have to be soulmates and attached to the hip and answer with each other's.
That was a lot easier when, we had the time to be attached at the hip.
Yeah.
Now mom's got to work 24/7. Dad's got to work 24/7.
Yeah, man, and it's just getting worse.
And you guys aren't going to be You're not going to be running a farm together.
Nope.
I mean, and that's the reality of modern times.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there are people out there that do that. And they're great at it.
Yeah.
But the reality is the rest of us, no.
We can't do that. Yeah.
That's the minority now.
That's some of the problems people have. Like my wife is when I'm off, I can sit in silence and be comfortable and like just be together and blah, blah, blah. Hey, what's going on? What are we going to do next? What are we doing? What are we, everything's going on all the time for me. So, it's hard.
That can be the hardest part.
It's really hard to find some middle ground sometimes.
And the thing is a lot of it comes down to you got to let either of you, because I've been in the other side of it where it's like, well, I have time now. Why don't you have time?
Right.
Well, I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. It's all about it. When you really start thinking about it, selfishness and jealousy.
Exactly.
Combined into a giant ball of that can either grow or it can get compressed.
Right. And that's where the key is, because like if you're the stay at home, I'm okay just being quiet and chilling, and I got to have 9 million things going on. I got to suck it up and not have 9 million things going on to an extent every once in a while.
Yep.
But they have to suck it up and like accept that there's 9 million things going on every once in a while. Neither one of you are going to win. It's not about that.
No,
it's not about,
compromise.
okay, you succumb, you let everything go, and we're just going to chill and be like the way I want to be. That's cool. But then you got to mesh into mine too.
Occasionally.
Yeah, it's not.
Occasionally. Like it's not a one-way street, man. It's both of you have to give.
It's not. I'm not busy because it's personal.
No.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not trying to negatively.
If I wasn't
affect you.
popular and doing my job well, people wouldn't seek me out, and I wouldn't be booked as far out, and we would have way more time to spend together. But then you'd be miserable because we can't leave the house because we don't have 2 dimes to rub together.
Yeah.
You'd be really sick of me.
Yeah,
is what it is.
exactly. Think about COVID.
Like, go do something.
Yeah, think about quarantine time.
I should have been like a day trader. Just when
Well, do you guys
markets are closed, it's like
I'm done.
can't work.
Yeah, then you're out doing
In a
other
perfect
things you're not
reality.
supposed to be doing.
Well,
yeah,
of course.
totally.
Idle hands.
I mean, and we've had between the two of us, we've had 2 major like kind of month long. Well, you were a lot more busy after the fire than I was, but that situation, and then when the
shutdown,
the pandemic, where like suddenly after 20 odd years of just being work,
Yeah, nothing.
And it drove me crazy.
Yeah, we built a
And
tattoo shop out at his house.
I'm the same way when I go on vacation. It takes me 2-3 days to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not worried about anything at the shop.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to think about this. I'm not going to think about what that's due or whatever. And it drives everybody around me nuts.
Oh, yeah. Well, during the pandemic, you try to do that, but like, you got a 2 or 3 month long hiatus, and after the first couple of weeks, you've kind of like learned how to like, okay, I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to freak out. Now what? Now what do I? Like, holy crap.
Well, and when you've been in that routine and that's been your purpose on the planet, and it's taken away,
you're lost.
It really messes with a guy.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you can't do what you feel is your worth on the planet, or what your purpose, what you're here to do, and now you're like, well, now you're just
now
a guy. What are you gonna, now who are you? What are you?
How do I relate to this now?
Really,
where does this go?
Messes a guy up.
That was definitely a huge challenge.
Yeah.
It was something I would never in the world have thought we would ever had to experience, and I never even fathomed how to deal with it, because I never thought it was possible until recently. Like, it was a real eye opener.
Yeah, and a couple things I've dealt with over the years is, and both has gotten better now than it was, is the fluctuation in income is a big stress factor with relationships I've had, and jealousy. But my clientele is usually 95 to 96% female. So I would always have this like weirdness whenever they would start asking me about clients or what they look like, and I've had that time and time again. Have you guys ever experienced any of that stuff?
I have.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. I had girlfriends back in the days be like, "Oh, did you check through that chick's boob or blah blah blah?" Like, no, she got her leg tattooed. Oh, well, she was kind of cute. Like, I don't have a clue, dude.
No.
When I'm tattooing, this is how much I'm seeing
It's
of that person. I'm looking at where I'm tattooing. Wherever I'm working at on that tattoo, even if it's a back piece, I'm looking at this much of the tattoo until I stand up and put my down and I step away and I go, okay, all right, that's flowing like this, so this is going to go there. I am never looking at them like, oh, nice butt. Oh, nice boobs. Oh, I like your legs. Like it doesn't register, dude. That's not what I'm there for.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I could perform my job very well if I was doing that. If I was focused on all that other stuff.
Not to be vulgar, but it'd be very difficult if you were aroused to do what you do.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Somebody had to say.
You couldn't do what you do.
We've all had that weird occurrence at least once in our life, or maybe it's just me, where the barber, just basically the way that he's moving around and his junk sits against your shoulder or whatever. And I can't imagine trying to do like what we do, because I'm sure there's at least once or twice that's happened in my career, just basically moving people around and fusing in certain areas. If I had, arousal, that would be really gross.
Be strange,
very hard to do.
Yeah, that's why I rub it out at least twice before work.
I mean, like when you're at home and you want to look at porn, or you're in that mode,
oh my god,
or if you want to go to the titty bar.
Too far down.
Well, if you want to go to the titty bar, like you're going there to be aroused or interested in, you're looking at figure and shape.
Yeah.
When you're doing your job, you're
not what I'm looking at.
It's not the idea.
That's not what you're doing. You're working. You're there focusing on art and how it flows on the structure with muscle tone and
how
the way it fits.
But really,
that's it.
It comes down to being secure, and not if your spouse is insecure about your relationship, or has feelings of them maybe feeling guilty of looking at someone and being wow, they're
you need to
cute
address
or
what's
something.
really the problem.
Well,
something else
that's
is
an
there.
issue.
It's a problem already if that's
right. And there's some underlying reason, so you need to figure that out.
There's something that needs to
and
be
back to the
worked out.
financial thing, it never failed. I always got a girlfriend when business was really busy.
Tax season was the time to have chicks. Once you get to Christmas time, you're starving to eat noodles, you're alone.
That's why I think I had so many 8 to 9 month relationships, because I'd start dating them in March, and then by November, December, no more.
At one point you can take them out to eat. You can kind of,
we're going on trips.
You're going on trips. You're kind of smoozing them a little bit. You're doing things, and by November, you're like, hey, do you got like $2 so we can get like a couple cheeseburgers from McDonald's? Because I got 50 cents.
It's steak and lobster in the summer, and it's beans and rice in the winter.
It's just the way it was.
I've lived my whole life.
And being in a long-term relationship with anybody that's self-employed in this type of business, though, I think that those gaps of slowness keep getting smaller.
Oh, totally.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely changed.
When there's a recession, it's one of those things that gets crossed off the list as far as things they need to spend their money on. So you have to be able to ride that roller coaster.
Well, you're no longer a necessity, because tattooing's like buying a boat. It's a what do they call that? It's
extravagance.
No, it's
a luxury.
It's a luxury item. That's what it is. It's more of a luxury
usually
item.
You need to have disposable income to get.
Yeah,
but
it's something you would like to have, but you don't. You can't. You can live without it.
Kind of advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean, it depends on who you talk to, because I've had clients that literally would spend their electric bill money.
I have too.
And have the lights go out.
And thank God for them too. And thank goodness for them too, because they've carried me through so many slow times, and I'm so thankful to have them.
So in other words, they gave you the money to pay your electric bill.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Without them, I would have been a homeless tattoo artist sometimes.
And I've been I've been there a number of
we've all been there. Oh, I live. Where do you live? Oh, I live in this house. Oh, that's a really nice house. Yeah, there's like 50 of us living in that house.
Yeah.
Well, I got a part of the living room, and this corner's mine.
I get the closet on Tuesdays.
Right.
You hungry? You want some ramen?
Yeah. I take a shower twice a week, because that's the calendar we have up, because there's so many of us.
Right.
Do you want the peanut butter on the spoon, or for 50 cents more?
Yeah.
You can put 2 pieces of bread.
You can come over
on
on Wednesday, because my shower day is Tuesday, baby.
Yeah, it's a balance, and finding someone who understands that balance and is secure enough with your relationship to let you
do what you
need to do, but still holding you accountable for, hey, you need to manage your time,
right?
Between if that's what you choose to do.
And part of it is having the strength to stand up and go, hey, hey, over here, you haven't done what I needed you to do in a long time. Let me tell you what's going on.
But at the same time, I know you weren't doing it on purpose. I know it's not personal. I know it's not because you like that more than me. Mm-hmm. I know you feel a pressure that you need to fulfill, but just remember that,
don't forget I'm over here.
Some fulfillment too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And see, I say that to any of my friends anytime they're like, I haven't heard from you forever. It's like, well, did you try contacting me? And they'll be like, well, and it's like, no, here's how it goes. I work. Yeah. And I work and I work.
Being a grown up sucks.
It does.
And usually I'm a passionate person about whatever I'm doing and I throw myself into it.
Yep.
So if you need my attention on something, or you feel like I haven't been around, or you feel like I'm overworking myself, you need to raise a hand and go, hey, I know you're this way, but bud, we need to hang out. Let's go have 2 beers, or let's go throw darts, or go do something.
I have friends that are like, they'll call the shop or something, leave a message. Hey, so-and-so called. You need to call them back. They missed you. They haven't seen you. Want to call, blah, blah. Okay, cool. And then I go back to tattooing and doing what I'm doing. And the next thing I know, it's been 2, 3, 4 weeks. Like, hey, by the way, if somebody don't go, hey, have you called them, or they call back or something, I've forgotten.
Yeah.
It's not personal. Yeah. I didn't mean to. I forgot. And then I feel like crap.
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude, I know I said I'd call you back, but I forgot to call you back.
Well, the trick is too, you during the day you're focusing on your tattoos and what you're doing, and you get these messages and these things throughout the day that you can't respond to because you're working.
Right.
And then by the end of the day, if you remember, oh, it's super late.
Well, you pick
I'll
up
hit
your
them
phone
tomorrow.
Oh, well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
You
I don't want to call
completely
them.
forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just the world's worst. I'm lucky that I have
I'm
any
awful
friends.
at it. I'm awful at it because, like Jack says, like I'll forget totally.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm on my phone, like we've closed. I've been drawing. It's okay. Now it's 1:30 in the morning. Oh crap! John Doe hit me up at like 3 o'clock, and I said, "Oh, I'd hit you up when I got done working."
Yeah.
I don't want to hit him up now because he gets up at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning for work. Like I don't want to call him at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. By the end of the day, you've been focusing so much on that, your brain's kind of fried out.
So what I'll do is I'll send a text message hoping they don't see it till the morning.
I feel bad even doing that, man.
People answer, and I'm like, dude, I know you have to get up at 3 tomorrow.
I know I woke you up.
And I'm sorry.
I feel like poop.
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll want to talk. Right. Anyway.
But that's the woes of being a tattoo piercer.
The ups and downs of or being one of us, or dating
or to be
one
honest
of us.
With you, or being anybody that's self-employed and driven at what they do and is passionate.
Thank you to the spouses that put up with us and allow us to do what we do.
Bless you.
And the girlfriends and boyfriends.
Because we couldn't do it without you.
No, probably not.
Probably not.
No.
No.
Yeah. And a lot of it, I always would say to him, it's like, I might have danced with a few other people tonight, but you're the one that I'm always going to take home.
Oh,
I think that's
aren't you sentimental and sweet? Big old softy
I may
over
not
there.
have called you back for like 5 days, even though.
But you're the one I wanted to call.
Such a
I know. There were so many other people in the way. Play up. So, do you think we beat this one to death?
I think so. I think we
did a good job
went off on enough tangents to.
Well, if you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time we post something. If you're listening to us on the podcast, just subscribe right there. We'll keep sending it right over there to you. If you like merch, you like swag, you like t-shirts, you like fanny packs, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. Till next time, here's hoping all your piercings and tattoos heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we'd all love to see you for your tattooing and body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening.
Thanks, guys. Be good.